the common trend we see is that a lot of businesses pay attention to 2 of 3 stories in their business. There's 3 stories or 3 brands we need to be building out, and every business needs to be building out. And the trap that a lot of people fall into is they try and make it not about themselves, as you mentioned, Simon. It's, I don't want to make it about me. And there's sometimes the false, the illogical perception that actually building out the brand around yourself actually makes the business less valuable, when in actuality it's the opposite. So people shy away from that. So the first 2 brands they typically lean into is the product brand and the company brand. So it's about the company and what we do, how we do what we do, and why we do what we do. And the product brand is about the product, the specific product or service that actually delivers the outcome for the clients. And a lot of people think that that's the way to get around it. However, they're missing that huge trust transference. And particularly when you're in an early stage business, you don't have the big brand credibility of somebody like Nike or Google or something of that nature. So we've got to leverage the trust of the founder as much as possible. And because people resonate more to stories of the individuals than we do to like a faceless brand. That's why if you looked at any of the most successful companies of our era, if you just list them out, typically people will say things like Apple, Virgin, Google, Tesla, all those sort of companies. We all know the founders' names of those companies. Could you imagine Apple coming out with a faceless brand trying to communicate what a computer was back in the days? Like, Apple, a computer, it's got a screen of the future. People are like, what is that? I don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, at the time, also going back a while now, Apple was this tiny little runt of a company, right? With 100%. This, Goliath out there called Microsoft, which, they're just trying to feed off the scraps and were close to bankruptcy many times. And of course, that's hard to believe now when, I don't know about today, but about a year ago, they were the biggest company in the world.
Completely. And that's why it's the founder's brand that has the trust, and you can buy into the story of Steve Jobs and his background and what he's done, and his, from bringing in the creative side to the technology, and it's for the creative people and so on. And so effectively, same thing happens just in small business, is that by you actually building out the founder brand, what it does is it allows you to create stories that connect with the individual. And those stories are easier to share and spread than much faster than a product. Because, we often look at it through the lens of there's 2 types of prospects inside any industry. There's active and there's dormant. The active market is typically only about 5 to 10% of the market. And active and dormant, just to put it into context, is active is like they're aware they've got a problem, and dormant is they're unaware that they've got a problem. So inside a session, I'd often ask people, do you feel that there's more people that you could help that just don't realize they need your help yet?
Yeah.
And often gets a chuckle, people, yeah, that is, it's frustrating. And that's because there's people who are blissfully unaware and they're dormant. And often
they're the ones that need it the most because of their ignorance, if you like, for want of a better word. They're the ones that really need it, Yeah.
Exactly. But if we only communicate in a functional way, meaning that if we only communicate about what we do, which is what a lot of companies do, 90 to 95% of companies that I come across communicate, so what makes you unique? Oh, we have great customer service. We do, we pride ourselves on delivering fast delivery or efficiency of this and blah, blah, blah of that, right? But that's all assuming that somebody wants what you have or is aware of what you have. If you were to try to bring any of those things to light to the dormant market, they don't realize they need you yet. So all of a sudden those things just fall. They don't have the bandwidth to consider it. So I don't need that coach. I don't need your services. I'm not in the market for it. So if we only communicate functionally about our product, we can only attract the active market. And the active market is A, the smallest, but B, the most competitive portion as well, because if prospects are actively aware, like if you're actively aware, Simon, that you need something, we're talking about devices like gadgets, tech gadgets, right? So
yes.
If we're actively aware that we need tech gadgets for podcasting and stuff like that, what are you doing? You're out there, you're Googling, not just Rode, you're Googling Audio Technica, you're searching all the other products. So not only is it the smallest portion, it's the most competitive portion of the marketplace as well. So the whole idea around accelerating influence and innovating right now is the opportunity to come up with ideas which are sometimes embedded in the stories of the founder. and those ideas and those stories will travel to permeate and educate and touch the lives of the dormant market much better, much more efficiently, much more effectively, especially when packaged up well. They've got to be packaged up well. So it's not just creating noise in the marketplace, but if it's a really strategic, unique positioning in the marketplace that nobody in your industry is talking about or discussing, because most people in the industry are talking about what we do, how we do it, and the delivery of it and why we're better than others, etc. Whereas people don't want that. If you can talk above that and communicate vitally instead of functionally, it means that your stories will spread to the dormant market, you'll educate them, you'll captivate them, and you can win a larger market share of the right people.